Now, what are you binging at home? Is there anything? What are you're like, you can only do so many digital drag shows and so many
Uh-huh.
reviews and so many albums. What are you binging?
Well, okay, so okay, here's some tea. I would be binging Ozark, which I mean, I'm a little bit late because it came out during my season. But I started to get into it. And then I realized that Jason Bateman, who is I think the show's director and one of the at least producers and the star, who's a longtime actor, everybody knows Jason Bateman, said some really kind of shady things about one of my close friends, Trace Lysette, in the midst of the Jeffrey Tambor scandal. Jeffrey Tambor was accused, and rightfully so, in my opinion, of sexual misconduct and sexual harassment on the set of Transparent. And so initially, some of the in the first wave of things, a lot of the people that were involved, some of the people at the upper levels, were not really defending any of the accusers, or they were kind of speaking out against these accusers, which were just in basically a couple of trans women. And I guess for some reason, one reason or another, there just was no reason to believe them, even in the light of like 3 years ago, we should believe women. And so for some reason, these trans women were not included in that. And so I just wanted to say that publicly. Jason
Mm-hmm.
Bateman, he had a moment where he was sort of mansplaining
Uh-oh.
in an interview, and with one of his coworkers, and that got some kind of press and play. But him basically saying that Trace Lysette was probably lying and not even not to be believed was
Uh-uh.
I don't know. So anyway, so Ozark is off my list. It's a shame because it was well written and there's some great performances on there. Come on,
Too
Jason Bateman.
bad we'll never see how it ends, Jason Bateman. Thanks for nothing,
Hello.
Jason. Now, during the time of Cor-
I've been watching. I want to tell you what I have been watching is Little Fires Everywhere with Kerry Washington and Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
It's been really good.
Now, during the time of Corona, trans women are some of our most vulnerable people in our society, and during Corona, they're even more vulnerable. What, as an
Mm.
activist, educate a lot of people. What should people be thinking and hoping for in supporting our trans brothers and sisters during this period of COVID?
I think one of the things that's really important for people to realize is that, like, some people's lifestyles have dramatically changed. Most people's lifestyles have dramatically changed. Everyone's been affected by COVID in one way or another, either economically or socially. But one of the things that's really interesting is that there's a lot of people who are engaged in survival sex work who I think, and I don't really know, but I would imagine that even in the light of the coronavirus, there's still people who are in practicing and engaging in survival sex work despite the social distancing measures and sort of the safety things that have been put in place. And so I think there's a lot of certainly there's definitely a lot of trans people and trans women and trans men who are involved and in sex work professionally and who may or may not see there being any other options, especially now. None of us can go to work at the department store. Many of us are not receiving the type of assistance, like where's this check? Like no one's getting the help. And so I think that there's when we look at that, the safety of these individuals is put doubly at risk because now that
Yeah.
now not only could there be potentially a violent or shady sort of incident, now their health is at possible in jeopardy. But I think some people are just kind of saying, I'll deal with what I can. And so engaging with groups that are specifically designed to help the sort of day-to-day life of trans individuals in this way is really important. Making sure that they get food, making sure that they get attention, and making sure that they know that they're not really in the shadows. There are some organizations that will help with that. I would say National Center for Trans Equality is a place where people should go to just to kind of look for general resources. But then you can also start with something even more kind of mainstream, like GLAAD, who right now during Corona is funneling a lot of attention and funds to sort of secondary organizations that are directly dealing with this.
Yeah, because we got to be here for our entire community. We got to be there for every letter of the LGBTQIAA plus, right? That's right, Peppermint. Sign it. It's important for us to come together.